With real estate prices still robust in the region, finding affordable places to live is a huge challenge, and for some, unattainable. Well, Craig Logan is Housing Executive Fellow at the Charleston Metro Chamber of Commerce with more on how to create equity among all Charleston citizens. It's good to have you. This subject is so important and one that is just so close to my heart because, first of all, moving here 7 years ago, seven and a half years ago now, sticker shock.
Yeah.
Sticker shock.
Yeah.
So how do we fix it?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned 7 years ago, right?
Yes.
Imagine moving in now, right? Man, how do we fix it, right? I think that's a conversation that first you have to approach it from an educational standpoint. People use the terms affordable housing, attainable housing, workforce housing.
Yeah.
It all is a lack of housing, right? I think the housing issue we all know is a supply and demand issue. And so I think it's changing the narrative around what those terms mean, right?
Absolutely.
A lot of people hear affordable housing and think government assisted housing, which nothing's wrong with that. There's a demand in the market for that. But a lot of times when we're talking about attainable housing, we're talking about teachers, we're talking about nurses, we're talking about firefighters, people who help make the community go around. So educating people on what that means, why we need housing, even if you are housing secure, right? It still matters because it helps promote a prosperous economy, and that's what we need in our area.
Absolutely, and I realize it's not just a problem that's here in Charleston County. It's a problem all across the country.
Yeah.
You know, rents are going up, housing prices are high. Now we're dealing with high interest rates, so that's prohibiting a lot of people from even taking out a mortgage today. So where do we begin to try to fix that problem so that the young professionals and the people who cannot afford to jump into, you know, some of these expensive leases and mortgages can actually afford to live in the place where they would like to work?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I go back to that educational piece, right? I think it's really providing general education to people about why housing matters, right, for everybody. What is the important factors of housing that helps drive economy, right? When you think about being on the interstate, going in our region from Somerville to downtown Charleston, sometimes that's an hour and a half commute, right? Infrastructure, all these things are a basis of not having enough housing within our region.
Because now you're chipping away at the quality of life.
Absolutely.
So when you're spending an hour and a half, 2 hours in the car to get from your home to the front door of your workplace, that is a lack of quality of life.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about Charleston County, and I know that there are some plans in place to start to build some of that affordable housing. A lot of people, developers and others, are going to say, well, how does that pay? Yeah. So how do we fix that?
I want to give credit to Charleston County and the leadership there because recently a draft plan of the Housing Our Future plan was implemented. I served on the Housing Steering Committee to where we worked for a year with consultants, with county leadership to really identify what the needs are here within Charleston County. I think the biggest takeaway from that plan is realizing that there is housing insecurity at the bottom of the map, but also at the top of the map. So you talk about that housing that is in place to assist people who earn from 0 to 30% of the area median income. There's not enough housing in that market, but also the affluent homes, people who may earn 120% or above the area median income. There's not enough housing there. So there's a lack of housing in general. There's going to be a fight for what's available. You hear people all the time say, hey, I'm house shopping. I've been beat out by a $50,000 cash offer. How can you compete with that, right?
Exactly. You can't.
You cannot compete with that, right?
But you need a place to live.
Yeah.
And you have a job. You're holding down employment.
Yeah.
You're a responsible citizen. We need to have affordable housing. So the Attainable Housing Week, this is an opportunity for people's voices to be heard,
Absolutely.
to learn how we
Absolutely.
can make those improvements. And for more information on people who really want to invest in the work that you're doing at the Chamber, how do they do that?
Yeah, visit the Chamber's website, right? Under our events page, you'll see the full lineup for the Attainable Housing Week. We're super excited to bring that. As you mentioned, a lot of educational opportunity is going to happen there, but an opportunity opportunity to really see what is workforce housing, right? We're partnering with Carolina One and Prosperity Builders, and we're going to provide an opportunity for people to really see what is workforce housing, who's most impacted by not having enough workforce housing, and also who is the real beneficiaries of providing workforce housing here within our region.
We're going to put that information up on our screen. I want to thank you so much, Craig, for joining us.
Thank you.
We're back in 2 minutes.